My goal for 2026 is to sell more homes. What does that look like? I mean, what is more homes? You've got to be specific.
Our brain loves specificity. If we're not specific, our brain goes in a panic mode. External extraction, novelty hijacks dopamine. That's why you get hooked. Novelty hijacks dopamine. So it's right there.
Anybody understand what she just said? That was so good. Birgit, I love you. All right, there we go. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. So today's topic is be so focused that noise can't find you. If you're taking notes, put that at the top of the page and get ready. Birgit is going to co-teach this with me. So Birgit, here's how this works. We're gonna live by the interruption rule. Now, the interruption rule means whoever interrupts rules. So at any time you have permission to interrupt me and just take over. Okay. I'll interrupt back. No worries. All right. So here's the first thing that I've got for you guys. Clarity. You must be crystal clear about what you want. Vague goals produce vague results. And, we do this all the time. We say things like, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to increase my production, or my goal for 2026 is to sell more homes. What does that look like? I mean, what is more homes? If you sold 12 in 2025 and you sell 13 in 2026, you hit the goal, right? But is that really what you wanted? You've got to be specific when you speak your goals, because your subconscious, which controls 90% of what you do, is going to take you in the direction of what you speak. The Bible says, speak to things that are not as though they were, as in, let there be light, right? Can you imagine if God had thought the way we do, right? I could just imagine him looking out into the universe and going, oh my gosh, it's so dark out here. I don't think it'll ever be light. So be crystal clear. You must be crystal clear about what you want. Vague goals produce vague results.
So I'll chime in. Because my job, as we're coming from the neuroscience of that, is to help you understand what your brain is actually doing in the back. So our brain loves specificity. If we're not specific, our brain goes in a panic mode. And when our brain goes in a panic mode, it scatters focus. So for some of us, it might be, oh, I want to kick up my business and I don't know, 2x it next year. For some of us, it might be, oh, I need to get 2 clients today. For others, it might have to be even more specific. So you have clarity in your brain when you move, meaning when you actually have found that tail and you know where it is that you need to go, how are you going to get those clients, what you're saying on that phone call, what the outcome is. Some people, that's exactly how crystal clear they need to get in order to be able to get their brain to move. So if you're finding yourself in a place where things don't feel specific, or you feel like you can't move and get accomplished what you want, you are missing a further part of clarity. And it's different, subjective for everybody as far as what that means.
Love it. Okay. Point number 2, concentration. So once you know what matters, you must give it your full attention. I've told you guys many, many times, words matter. So really pay attention to what I just said. I said that you must give it your full attention, not most of your attention, not some of your attention, but your full attention. When you know what you want, you must give it your full attention. If your goal is to close 36 sales in 2026, and you know that in order to do that, you need to take 24 seller listings or 2 seller listings per month, then your one thing that you are concentrating on, the one thing, this is focus, okay? This is take that light and shine it like a laser on the one thing. The one thing is, in order to take 24 seller listings, I need to meet with 36 sellers. That's 3 appointments per month. So my one thing, schedule 3 listing appointments per month. Now, my concentration is not on closing 24 sales. It's on scheduling 36 listing appointments. Birgit, jump in here.
If you ever sit down and go off been there, call your database, and suddenly your brain releases about 17 other super urgent tasks, including the toilet, right? And or just let me check the MLS, rewrite a script. That's your nervous system perceiving rejection. And attention for us is a survival mode. So we need to pay attention to that. If it's something feels threatening, like calling a lead or somebody might say no, so butting up against that rejection, your brain again scatters you on purpose. So your brain isn't distracted. It's your brain protecting you from a moment that feels risky. And so that's what we need to learn ahead of time so we can manage that in the moment or work up to managing in the moment. So we can actually do what we want to do, which is connect with our clients and serve them from the highest level.
Yeah. Guys, here's my thought so far. And it's the first time Bergen and I have co-taught together, but I'm really liking this. Okay. So
I love this too.
if you're liking this, give me a thumbs up. Okay. When you watch this video, I want you to listen to what I'm sharing with you, but then I want you to pay more attention to what Birgit's telling you because she's the brains behind this conversation. I understand this stuff, but I understand it from doing it, not from studying it at the level that Birgit has. If you're looking for the smartest person in the room, it's the person to my right. Okay. Pay really close attention to what Birgit's saying when you're re-watching this. All right. Number 3, consistency. Focus is a habit. It's showing up day after day, working on what matters most. Okay, again, words matter. It's showing up day after day, not some days, not when you feel like it, not when you're motivated. If you're waiting for motivation to show up, you're not going to do it. The motivation always follows the action. Do it, and then you're going to feel motivated to do it day after day. Also, I want you to really pay attention to working on what matters most. So, what matters most? What's your 20%? Your 20% as a real estate agent is lead generation. It's meeting with buyers and sellers. It's taking seller listings. It's writing offers and negotiating contracts. That's it. Now, what's the 20% of the 20%? It's lead generation. So the thing that matters most when you're looking at your day with clarity, concentration, and consistency is lead generation. It's your number one job. Lead generation focused on new business. Dealing with old business never takes precedence over finding new business. So until you have hit your daily standard that day, if it's 10 conversations and 1 appointment booked, whichever comes last, okay, that is your consistency. You're going to show up and do it every day, not some days, not when you feel like it. And here's the other thing. You can't save it up. You can't say, well, I'm going to skip today and double down tomorrow. You're not going to say, I'm not going to brush my teeth and then brush them twice as long tomorrow and everything will be fine. No, it's not. It's gross. Birgit, jump in here.
I love motivation. There's so many places you can go with motivation. It's a standalone conversations. So I'm going to take the most high level view on motivation. If scrolling social media feels safer than picking up the phone, guess which behavior your brain's just automating. So not because you're unmotivated, but you are literally, if you're teaching your brain and your brain wires on repetition. So because that equals emotional safety. So our pathways in our head actually grow stronger every time we repeat something, even avoidance. So consistency is less about motivation. It's more about nervous system regulation. Your brain doesn't default to what matters. It defaults to what feels familiar. So how you start your day. And it's very easy for you to check that. How you start your day, we're also automated. We do things automatically, check the wake up, maybe turn on the news or whatever. And you observe the behavior and pull yourself out of that and do something else that morning. Maybe listen to a motivating podcast or something. For some people, it feels incredibly hard to do. And so that can tell you how difficult it is for us to get out of automated behavior.
Love that. Okay, so 5 enemies of focus, everyone. Number 1, external distractions. You've got stuff going on around you all the time that is distracting you. So I live by the 5-foot rule, which means if you were to come into my office and you would look around where I am sitting right now, there is nothing within 5 feet that can distract me. That way, I know that the one thing that I am doing is I'm making calls. I'm in lead generation, just like you guys are. I am looking at my computer, and the only thing I'm focused on is the next call. Having that conversation, 100% present in that conversation, not being distracted by anything else. Okay. When Monica and I were running the Deets team as a real estate agent, she would tell agents all the time, the building could be on fire and John wouldn't even know it. And I would add to that, you're right. And I would tell the fire department, put the fire out. Don't come and get me unless the building's going down. I'm going to keep making calls. You guys just do your job. That's concentration. That's focus. That's eliminating those external distractions. Okay, you also have internal distractions. This is a really tough one.
Let me go back. I'm going to go real quick. External extraction. Novelty hijacks dopamine. That's why you get hooked. Novelty hijacks dopamine. So it's right there.
Anybody understand what she just said? That was so good. Birgit, I love you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. So, internal distractions, this thing up here, you've got so much noise going on between your ears. Oh my gosh. Raise your hand if you're like me, you're reading a book and you've read a couple pages and you stop and think, I don't even know what I just read. It's because your brain is thinking about everything else that's going on. It's thinking about your day. It's thinking about everything you have to do. It's thinking about whatever it's thinking about, but it's not focused on what you're reading. You've got internal distractions. You also have this internal self-talk that is so damaging. The most important person that speaks to you every day is you. And your self-talk sucks. You've got what Zig Ziglar would call stinking thinking. You've got to turn the noise down, eliminate the noise so that nothing can distract you.
Yes, internal noise louder than anything outside. And so let's take this quick example with the book that you were talking about. That's a perfect example when our brain can't do anything that's applicable. So we're reading something, perhaps it doesn't really kind of grab us, not applicable. We can't do anything with us. Our brain goes right back into worry mode. Default network back here. When your brain finds something that's applicable that it can actually act on, so now it's going into the planning stages and actually the figuring out part of it, we go right back up here again. Funny thing is we can't be in both places at the same time. So when we're ruminating, and I always say that, and say that with love, stop ruminating. We're not a cow. I say that with love. So we can go ahead and actually go to work and do the things that we need to get done because we can't do both at the same time. So you get to choose.
Love it. All right. Number 4, poor prioritization. A lot of you don't know what's most important. A lot of people, raise your hand if you've ever said this, everything's important. So everything may be important, but everything is not equally important. I'll go back to lead generation. The most important thing you do every day is lead generation. If that's the most important thing, doesn't it make sense that you would do it first? Real estate agents ask me all the time, Birgit, when should I lead generate? And I'm like, well, let me think about it. It's the most important thing you do.
The only thing you do.
Maybe it's the only thing you do, right? Yeah, the only reason you should not be in lead generation is because you have an appointment to meet with a buyer or a seller. Otherwise, what else are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. And when our brain is overwhelmed, our brain defaults to the easiest task, not your highest ROI task. Your highest ROI task is to make those calls connect with people. Your brain says, oh, no, checking out. And so you redo your website instead of calling 6 warm leads from that last open house, right? So we have to focus on what is being said in here. It's like listening to a third party. Never believe anything that's going on here, by the way.
Man, you should be taking notes. All right, I've got one more for you, perfectionism. Uh, Ready, aim, 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 fire. That's perfectionism. I'm ready, fire, aim. Not looking for perfectionism at all. Just do it. Don't focus on being perfect. Focus on being in activity and focus on progress. It's the gap in the gain. So many of you are so focused on the gap that you don't pay attention to the gain. The goal here is not to be perfect. The goal is to make progress.
Yeah, biggest lie in real estate isn't I wanted to be perfect. It is I'm afraid someone might judge me today. That is the biggest reason we tend to avoid. So perfectionism is truly equals micro avoidance in disguise because we don't want to be judged because that goes right to our survival mechanism and our brain checks out on that because it doesn't feel safe.
Love that. Okay, I've got one more thing for you. I want you to put your hands up if you have questions or comments. You can go ahead and do that because we're going to go right to you. The quality of your life will be in direct proportion to your ability to focus on what matters most, not what's loudest, not what's newest, not what's easiest, what matters most.
I love that. And I rewrote that in a little time that I had. So the quality of your business is directly tied to your ability to focus on what matters most, not what's loudest, easiest, or most urgent.
Love it. Love it. Sean, talk to us. Guys, put your hands up if you have something to say or if you have questions. There should be a lot of hands up right now, and there's not. So let's go, Sean.
The ruminant first. I love cows. They taste great. But that's what I spend most of my time setting. Not most of my time, but before I start to do something, I set the room up. I don't have the TV on. I don't have any background. If I have background noise, it's nothing with words. And then that's when I get work done. If you come into my office and the TV is on, it's a day that I'm just kind of browsing, doing some time, doing some things, not really focused heavily on exactly what needs to get. It's a day off that I'm still working. That's it. But I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's the hardest part of my day is to turn everything off and focus on the most important thing.
Yeah. When you're doing, you're not thinking. When you're thinking, you're not doing. And it's microseconds, goes back and forth, right?
Write that down, guys. Gee whiz. Okay, Darren Mancuso, let's go.
Yeah, so my big takeaway is that your brain defaults to what's easy, not what's most important.
True.
That is correct. Your brain defaults to what's easiest, and that is not necessarily what moves you forward. It is what keeps it protected because its job is to keep you safe. Bottom line.
Yeah, thank you.
Joe Trimper, let's go.
I can't thank you enough, John and Birgit, for all those nuggets you just gave us. I mean, there's so much value in that. And I'm so guilty where, as I know, my one thing as a real estate agent is lead generation. And John tells me, sit down and make the calls, do the job. And then I'm drifting off over here, thinking, oh, I should put this on my website that nobody's ever been on. And as Birgit said, that's your brain saying, do this. This gives you more dopamine. So thank you very much. I really needed to hear all this.
Then you take your brain and treat it like a 2-year-old. And you say, you sit over here because I got this. I got this and I got us.
Man, there's so much good stuff. Treat your brain like a 2-year-old. That's a t-shirt or a hat or something. Let's go, Joanne Kelly.
It was what Birgit just said was my big takeaway is I think of it anytime I'm struggling to do something that is a habit I want to create, my brain does something. And I wrote down, what is your brain doing? And reminding yourself that it's just trying to protect you from failure. And what Birgit just said was amazing. So acknowledge it and tell it to sit down over here. I've got this.
Yeah, I've got this. It's 2025. I've got this. And move on and create those new habits.
Love it. Let's go, Joe Grant.
I think the number one takeaway I got out of this over anything, and it kind of goes back to basics, is clarity. If you're not clear on what you want, you don't know how to get there. It's like going down the road and trying to drive cross country, but not knowing which roads to take to get there. You have to know the destination to figure out the roads.
Right. And everybody's destination is different.
Yeah. And I have a little bit of a different thought on the perfectionism stuff. I don't think a perfectionist is somebody who never puts something out. A perfectionist is somebody who's always striving to make it better and better. They might not go out to a big enough pond, but they're always reiterating it to make it better and better. Where you guys were going with procrastination of ready, aim, 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 aim. That's procrastination, not perfectionism.
Okay, so that's true, but and we're going to run out of time here, but everybody knows the study where the teacher had two different groups. One group's job was to make as many clay pots as they could. The other's group's job was to make the perfect clay pot. Now, at the end of the lesson, the one group that was whose job was to make as many clay pots as they could made a whole lot of clay pots. But here's the other thing. They also made the most superior clay pot as well, better than the other group who was working on the perfect clay pot. So getting into action is the path to mastery.
The perfectionist can easily get caught up in procrastination.
Yes. Thank you for that. Joe, you're not wrong. I just want to make sure everybody here is clear. Bob, talk to me.
Well, Joe said it. That's the word procrastination. So it's like I'm a firefighter. It's once it gets real serious, then I take action. Can you talk about procrastination a little more, Birgit?
Well, that's because now you found motivation. That's why motivation is such a big kit and caboodle on how we can get to motivation. So for you right now, you love to get into action when your nervous system is peaked at its highest because you're afraid to starve. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do something, right? That is your default position now. So what if you were to take yourself out of that default position and come actually from a more chill way of doing it? No, so, but right now, this is the habit that you build in order to keep your business moving.
This is great stuff. Guys, that's a wrap for today. I just want to say, Birgit is a coach. She is a part of the John Dietz coaching platform. She is available. If you are looking for a coach, reach out to her. You should absolutely speak with her. While I've got the mic, I just want to acknowledge Leanne Weathers. I love you. You did such an amazing job on the Hive call yesterday.
Yes.
I have so much respect for you.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. I loved it. And so I see some familiar faces on here that was on there yesterday. So thank you guys.
You were incredible. Leanne, is this good stuff today?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Birgit knows I love the brain. It all starts up here in the things that she said about, you have to take your brain and you kind of have to sit it to the side. I'm so ADHD. I'm like, oh my God, I see Megan over there. I wonder how she's like in Texas and she's walking around. And then I see Bob and I'm like, I saw Bob yesterday and he's smiling. And then I'm like, stop, focus. So, her giving me these little tips and tricks and hey, it's okay. Everybody does it, right? Everybody feels it. You just have to figure out the way that works for you. That has been like game changing for me to figure out what works for me because we're all wired differently and that's okay.
And that's it. If the action feels threatening, the brain will find a distraction that feels safe. And that is so unique for everybody.
Oh, good. All right. That's a wrap. I've got 9:31. Guys, give it up for Birgit. She was amazing. Absolutely amazing. This will be on YouTube. Hopefully later today. I've got to get it to the editor first. By the way, speaking of that, if you haven't been to my YouTube channel, please go, please subscribe. Let me know what you think about the new format. Love to hear your feedback. Birgit, you're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to be part of this. I'm honored to be able to share across a bigger platform on helping us see what is all part of us that we take so for granted and that we find so automatic every day. And if I can take one person today and let them know that it's not the experience, it's simply what is happening to them, then I feel like I've done my job.
Wrap. You guys make it a great day. I will. Everybody tomorrow, 9 a.m. Invite your friends. Go get them, guys.